How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about SNDL Sundial growers. I've been getting some questions. Dre, we need to get an update. You've been telling us to load up when it dipped, when it was in the 40-cent range. Look where we're at right now. Should we be taking profits? What is next? What is the game plan? Of course, I can't give you guys financial advice, but I can share my opinion. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on to Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for SNDL Sundial growers. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at 61 cents, being down 4.36%. On the low, it tested 60 cents, and then on the high, testing 63 cents. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 57.905 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 113.155 million shares. So we did have well below the average in regards to volume, and it's part of the reasons why we saw a pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 57.31. When we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, you can see we're below the 200-day, but we are above the 21-day EMA, the 50-day, and we're right near the 100-day. It's around 61.98, and we close at 61.13. So one thing that you want to pay attention to, if we end up seeing weakness inside of the market and we have a continued sell-off, you're going to want to see it hold up 60 cents like it did on the day. If it can't do this, then we could see a pullback going all the way here to around 56 cents or right where we have the 50-day. So that is one thing that you're going to want to keep in mind. And if we did decide to do that and we just consolidated in this area, it could still set us up for it to go back to this 60-cent range. So that's just one thing you want to keep in mind. If things start looking bullish and we have a turnaround, some more buying coming in, even more volume and so forth, then I want to see us actually get up to this high where we tested previously around 66 cents. This is very achievable considering the fact we ended up testing 63 cents on the day. So if we're able to get that buying volume coming in, we could easily get past 66, and this is where I want to see how well the stock would do once it gets to the 70-cent range. I could see this being a psychological area, a lot of profit taking, but one of the things that could be very good for this stock, if we can get to 70 and get comfortable there, and then being able to get to the 200-day, that's where the stock could really start making some serious moves, and this is why you say you want to keep it on your radar. So let's get into the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for SNDL. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we see the recent filings for February the 16th, we have Zulo Investment Group that purchased 200 shares. And then let's take a look at the 15th. We have a closed position by HBK Source Advisory LLC, but we do have a new position from Parametrica Management Limited that purchased 69,415 shares. We also have Change Path LLC that purchased 14,560 shares, and then we have a closed position in regards to calls from Albion Financial Group. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 48.47%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 45.70 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 0, updated 2 minutes ago. And then for the short ball fee rate, it is saying that it is currently not available. And then when we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 15th, it's at 52.07. And then for the close of the 16th, it being at 48.47. So we have a slight reduction there, but one thing that remains the same, SNDL does have short squeeze potential. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. direction.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for SNDL. So we see here on the inflow, it's at 11.64, and then on the outflow, it's at 10.85. So we had an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 6.75. And then on the small, it was 4.89. Taking a look at the outflow side, on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 7.16. And then on the small, it was 3.69. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see it was zeros down the board for the past 4 trading days. But we did have an inflow day on February the 11th, which was at 4.63 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we have no data since it was 0 on both sides. And then when we take a look now at the turnover ratio, it was at 2.82%. And this is not too bad for a stock like Sundial. We know how volatile it is. It's a penny stock at the end of the day. But ever since that news came out saying, you know what, they've been given this extension, we've been noticing it's giving a lot of investor confidence and many people wanting to get in. We also have to take in consideration of the fact we have been seeing a solid trend happening inside of the cannabis sector. So I'll talk about it further inside of the final thoughts. Let's actually get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for SNDL Sundial growers, in regards to the price action, we need to get above resistance at 66 cents so we can make that move going to 70 cents. 70 cents will be a psychological area. We could be dealing with a good amount of selling pressure. So this is why it is very key that we have a lot of buying that is coming in to push this stock up even further. As far as it decides to pull back now, I want to see it hold up at least 60 cents. Breaking through 60 cents can send this stock down to 56 cents. So that is one thing that you want to be aware of. And also for my long-term investors out there, when I was talking about in my previous videos, if you believe in the long-term prospects, you should be adding on that dip. So when SNDL got down to 40 cents, that was an opportunity for you to average down, or maybe if you were thinking about taking a position, to hop in right away. And the main reason being is, look how we've been able to enjoy this nice run up. Plus, on top of that, they've announced so much news in regards to doing share buybacks, and they also put up solid earnings reports. And on the operational side, as far as all of that cash that they have on hand, they've been putting it to use with acquisitions like Alcana. So all of these things are what you want to look for when you're going to be investing in a stock, especially when it comes to the cannabis sector. We know as far as valuations are concerned, a lot of them are undervalued. And as far as for SNDL, I think it can deliver a lot of value to shareholders, but it's going to take a bit of time. And if you are patient, you'll be able to see some solid returns. And that's what we've been seeing so far. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest, we can see institutions have been loading up on shares, and SNDL does continue to have short squeeze potential. And like I was saying in all of my previous videos as well, the moment cannabis gets legalized on the federal level in the United States, this stock will pop. So I just want to make sure that you do your homework and you do your due diligence before jumping into this play. We also do know this is an election year, and we know as far as the Republicans are concerned, they're really trying to push for this bill to get passed. So this is why you've been seeing the cannabis sector has been gaining a bit of steam as of late. And considering how undervalued it is and how the market is getting beaten up, we're going to have more money flowing into undervalued plays. So that's why I want to make sure that is something you are aware of. Keep your ears to the street, know what's going on inside of the market. And if you have any questions, or if you want to join us in the private community for the Discord, then you can find that link down in the description. We talk about many stocks to make sure that you're prepared for it, especially whether you're going to be thinking about trading it, or maybe you might be thinking about actually investing in a play for the long term. Whatever the case may be, there's a lot of people in there that are out there to help you out. Plus, you get access to me a lot faster than I can get to all of the YouTube comments that I get on my videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how SNDL performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.